Hey, what is up, everybody? It is Mike's Exotics here. I know it's been a while since I last uploaded a video. By the way, sorry, I've got like a pimple here, and I've currently got like a Rudolph the Red-Nosed reindeer nose. It's fucking horrible. Yeah, cheapers. It's bloody awful. Anyways, so yeah, I know it's been a while since I last uploaded a video. As always, this will just be shot in a sort of a one take. I'm not going to edit it or anything like that. So if there's humming and awing and me sort of pondering, forgive me. Yeah, I just kind of wanted to do a video about a question that I get asked quite often. And literally that question is when is the right time for me to start keeping venomous tarantulas or sort of aggressive tarantulas? By that, I'm kind of referring to the old world species. As most of you know, New World is a little bit more, kind of going to make your arms itch and that kind of thing. Irritating hairs is the best way to describe it, I guess. So, they kick off a bunch of hairs, gets in your arms and all of that, and it just itches like absolutely crazy. Whereas Old World species, a little bit more aggressive, and they're going to, venomous. Remember, it's not poisonous, it's venomous. And yeah, in general, there are the exceptions to the rule, but in general, they're a lot more of an aggressive species. And I guess the question I get asked all the time is, when can I start keeping such a species? And to be honest, there's no really right time or sort of an exact date as to when you can start keeping them. But I will say this. There has been information that's sort of gone around, and me personally, I don't agree with it, where people say, oh, it's fine, you can start off on an aggressive old world species and you can just get straight into it from there without any tea keeping experience whatsoever. I think that is the most stupidest advice anybody could ever give. If you're going into this hobby and you've never kept a tarantula before and you've never had any experience, to be thrust into the middle of it, well, not even the middle, at right at the forefront of it with an aggressive a species will simply put you off the hobby completely. Sure, there are your adrenaline junkies out there who probably will enjoy something like that, but it's stupid. You don't know the signs to look out for. You don't know the handling of the species. By handling, I mean sort of when you're getting ready to sort of, if you would need to do an enclosure clean or sort of transfer it from one enclosure to the next. You don't really know the signs to sort of watch out for or what to keep an eye on. Folks, I'm actually going to pause this video for a second because my cat is making a hell of a lot of noise. Oh, no? Has she stopped? Is she going to? You can probably hear that racket there in the background. So though I said I wasn't going to edit this video, I'm actually going to pause it for a second while she finishes up. And then I'm going to resume it and carry on with this conversation. Okay, she seems to have stopped whatever nonsense she was doing. Basically back to what I was saying is, if you've had no prior experience and you're being thrust into the middle of it, that's a horrible way to go. I've seen people try and put on like feather leg tees, which is just, I think that's one of the most. It's the only recorded death that I know of personally, and I think it was actually from a South African National Defence Force soldier that died from being bitten by one of those. That's just stupid. You need a bit of a prior experience. So the best way to go about it, in my opinion, is you start off sort of with the New World species and kind of build your way up. So you're sort of starting off with, the general sort of more slower species, the more docile species, really, to say. Look, all tarantulas run the risk of, biting or causing issues, but it depends on how you sort of handle it. I would probably say the best way to go is sort of starting off on like a species like a curly hair, and then you sort of slowly build your way up to sort of more aggressive New World species where you're sort of not running that risk of being bitten by something venomous. And once you feel comfortable enough with that, then sort of progressing onto the Old World species. Do I think your first Old World species should be something like an electric blue? Probably not, because it's not called the electric blue for nothing. It's lightning fast, and before you know it, you might get a bit of a nick. and that's not going to be fun. And same like a feather leg. I don't think that should be the first sort of old world species that you should be given. Really, anything, in my opinion, anything that can climb, as from an old world species point of view, I would say stay away from. Sort of start off with. By that I mean anything that's a boreal. Rather start with something that's more terrestrial first. Just personal opinion, I found that was my way to get into it. So with the terrestrial old world species, and then I sort of moved on to a boreal, and I just absolutely fell in love with the arboreal species once I sort of had a better understanding of what was going on. And I think my first arboreal was the Guti sapphire. Amazing species, and mine was actually pretty chill, pretty docile, and but it gave me a good understanding of sort of how it all works, I guess is the best way to put it. The best way of handling them, and the best way of sort of getting to understand that species. Folks, sorry, she's back at this again. I'm going to have to pause and I'm going to have to resume in a second. Right, sorry about that. For those of you who don't know, our more furry pets, such as cats and dogs, are a little bit more noisy than tarantulas. So yeah, no, that's sorted out. So yeah, in short, you want to start off on a new world species. When you feel comfortable enough, obviously then go through to old world, and I would start off with a terrestrial first. Essentially, the reasons for this is so that it's not exactly going to shoot up your arm, sort of run up your arm, go all over the show and nick into you. You kind of only have to worry about it being sort of ground based, which in my opinion a lot easier to handle. Then from there, move on to a boreal. Again, as I said, a boreal, don't go straight into something like a feather leg or whatever. I know there are some individuals there who are like, oh, it's just a feather leg, just deal with it, it's fine. No, do a bit of research first. You'll see it's anybody knows usually what they're talking about. Look, I'm not saying I know 1000% what I'm talking about, but anybody who's respectable online and who's been in the industry for a very long time will tell you that that's a very stupid idea to do. Those kind of things you really want to keep once you are a lot more experienced. Again, there's no time on experience. There's no time that says only after a year are you considered an experienced handler. It comes down to how comfortable you are, and sort of how, I guess it boils down to how comfortable you are in dealing with that species. How calm can you be if it escapes? How calm can you be sort of if it goes onto you? All of that, and there's sort of a gearing up process towards it. There's sort of this build-up process. The best way to describe it is sort of, for those of you who have been snowboarding, if you sort of start off on the black slopes, which is your hardest slopes, and you're a novice and you never snowboarded in your life, you're gonna kind of be a bit screwed doing that. You're not gonna have the best time, and you're probably never gonna want to snowboard again, which is kind of the same principle that I take into effect here. Start off on something that's easier and build your way up from there. Is the best way to go. In regards to my last video that I did, and that was a couple of months ago, I had a lot of good feedback. And a major shout out to Danny. He was fantastic. He spoke to me a lot. It was great to see sort of the very positive feedback from what I had uploaded. It definitely gave me a lot to think about, and a lot to sort of look into. I might have a couple of things in the pipeline. I might be keeping one or two things that I'm not going to announce yet, that are rarer than rare, let's say. That's the best way I'm going to call it, but I'm not going to be showing them off just yet. But yeah, something to definitely hang about and check out. But yeah, this is sort of just a quick video. We're running now nearly on 10 minutes. This is a video I just wanted to do to sort of just say to everybody that, as I said, there's a question that I'm often asked: when should I start keeping something that's venomous and sort of old world? And it kind of boils down to you as a person. There is a correct way of doing something, I believe. It might not be always the right way of doing it. I don't believe there's only one right way. There's multiple avenues to take, but if you are new to the hobby and somebody's coming up to you and be like, yeah, get straight into old world, start keeping venomous, just please don't. You will destroy yourself in the process. You'll probably get hurt in the process, and you will probably not want to do this hobby again. Yeah, you'd probably get it and get rid of it. As I said, there are the adrenaline junkies, and please don't even get me started on the people who are, oh, look at me holding the venomous old world tarantula in my hand and watching it crawl. That's just pure stupidity, and that just puts a bad name out for the hobby entirely. There's a lot of people, well, not a lot, but a couple of people that I've seen doing that, and that's just, as I say, pure and utter stupidity. It's merely trying to show off. And the best argument that I tend to hear is, yes, but it's very calm and it's gotten to know me, whatever. Folks, at the end of the day, this is a tarantula, okay? Its brain is probably less than a rice grain. If you think that it's getting a bonding experience with you, this isn't a cat, this isn't a dog. They have a primal instinct. And you should never, ever, ever let your guard down. It's the exact same with a snake. It's not getting used to you. It's can attack at any moment. It's like same as a crocodile and alligator. It can attack at any moment. And it's usually fast and you don't have time to react to it. It's not exactly like it gives some warning sign. Sometimes there is a warning sign, but sometimes there's also not. It's just straight into it, and that's it. You're pretty much done for. And you don't know how your body's going to react. Look, 99% of the cases, people get bit, they're going to be okay. You go to the hospital, get some antibiotics, get it sorted out, you're going to be fine. But you just don't want to be part of that 1% where it's sort of like, this becomes now a life-threatening issue. And it's again for those reasons that I say, rather take your time, get to know your species, get to know first. I'm always going to advise first go for New World. Most you got to deal with is those hairs, and if it bites you, it's not exactly venomous. And then you can sort of move on to an old world species. Start off with something that cannot climb and that is not going to shoot up your arm and go all over the show, and then go for the boreal species and take it from there. As always, my comment section is open. If you have any questions or anything like that, if you want to, I don't know, if you want to tell me that I'm speaking a bunch of shit and I don't know what I'm talking about, please feel free to go for it, whatever. I'm not one of those that's going to shut off the comments. You talk, you say whatever you want, and if there are people that want any bits of information, please feel free to ask, and I will be more than happy to help out. That's it from me. I hope it answers the question. Sorry I've sort of dragged on here a bit, but I kind of like this. I kind of like sort of a one-take shot where I just talk and sort of air out my thoughts. With that said, have a fantastic one. I hope you all have a brilliant festive season and New Year's. And either I will talk to you before the end of, 2021, or I shall chat to you in the new year. Just past the 700 subscriber mark, which is actually pretty cool. Seeing that I don't upload that often anymore, but it's something I should probably work on. It's just work and all of that has been quite hectic. But yeah, that's it from me. Have a fantastic one. And I'm sure, I have no doubt I will chat to you all soon. Bye-bye.